Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, as it is a Thursday, so we are getting into the closer point of the weekend where we know it's game week for Arkansas and Tennessee in football, so we'll have some more discussions on that. A whole injury report, too. The latest in the coaching search, which is ongoing and getting crazy with all the amazing details that are being leaked out. Obviously being sarcastic, but we'll still have some discussions on that as well. We'll have our heavy hitters and get into the chat and talk about everything that you all want to talk about. But fellas, it's Thursday, so how are the vibes here on this Thursday afternoon in Arkansas?
The vibes are okay, but I got to tell you, I'm about that action, boss. You know, like I'm ready to see some games. I'm ready for this football game on Saturday, see what this football team looks like. I'm ready to get to Hot Springs, watch hoops on Sunday. It's great to speculate, but the thing with that bye week is we've been doing a lot of that lately. So I want to see what this is actually going to look like, so I can really start my Bobby Petrino for having that interim tag removed campaign.
I like that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm feeling a little slightly under the weather, which doesn't happen to me often, but I'm a strong man of faith, man of character. So I'm going to power through. I'm going to persevere. These takes aren't going to spit themselves. Someone's got to do it. And so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to the weekend. I feel like this week is actually kind of maybe flying by.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it has been, at least, which is good. I mean, because let's be honest, like you said, Curtis, I'm tired of we had the fun, when I say fun, content fun for the coaching changes and the coaching firings and then the hirings and the press conferences and all of that. And it's like, all right, that's settled. And we know that there's not going to be anything of note that's happening here today or tomorrow when it comes to hiring a coach or anything like that, because you still have football games to play. You still have over half of your season still to play for the Razorbacks, and it starts against Tennessee this upcoming weekend. And guys, I know that there's been, of course, curiosity on what it's going to look like when it comes to the injury report. At least I was really curious about what the injury report is going to look like, who's available for this one. Well, we have one. It's officially out with Bobby Petrino giving it out to everybody. You got quite a few people out. You got Quintavious Scandrett, man, the EA College Football 26 dude. I think is he still the only one that's recovered a fumble for Arkansas? I think so. But either way, you got him. He's out. Monty Harrison is out, which we knew. Ishmael Cece is out, which we knew. Jalen Brown is out, which we knew. AJ Green, the running back, which we haven't seen any action from him this year. He's out. Tight end Jeremiah Beck is out. Andreas Poski, so no touchdown catches for him this weekend. And then David Oki back on being out for the Razorbacks this weekend.
Looks like that tight end depth is getting a little bit thin. It might be Maddox Lassiter's time to shine, baby.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So.
They got their two main guys there in Platt and Roham. But how about Bobby Petrino just not messing around with the questionables or the doubtfuls or the probables? He's just like, all right, these dudes are out. Everyone else playing. The David Oki thing sucks, but I'm done talking about the defensive line depth. Like Cam Ball is going to play 80 snaps anyway. So is what it is, but hate that he hasn't been able to get healthy and have the type of impact or the type of role that I think everyone kind of envisioned for him coming into the year.
Yeah, the David Oki one strikes me as like the biggest news out of this one. Scandrett's notable, but really just hadn't played much at all. And Oki, we haven't seen much at all either. We also haven't seen much impact. I mean, it's kind of crazy that's where we're at with the D-line, where a guy that I think he has like a half of a tackle this year. It's a big loss, the fact that he's not there, because that's just like one less playable guy on what's an already very thin D-line. But I'm with you, Curtis. It's like we already had the discussion, and we kind of knew this was the case, and this is just what you got to live with.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay. And I don't know the rhyme or reason to, the mind of a Bobby Petrino, but that was the thing that did stand out to me is like, hey, there ain't no doubtfuls, questionables, nope, just out. And it just makes me wonder, like, is it simply like he's like, I'm not going to be dealing with all that nonsense. Either you're playing or you're not playing, or is it one of those things he's like, because I don't know, this is how I always felt about an injury report. If there's a guy that's even possibly could actually play, like, why would I even put him on as questionable or anything? Like, why would I use that? Why would I even use that little thing right there? Am I going to get in trouble if a questionable guy plays? No, because he's questionable. So why not just you're out or you're not out? I've always wondered that, and maybe that's the thought process behind Petrino, which I like, and I think it's smart. But I'm wondering if that's maybe the case he did. He's like, hey, there's no point in putting someone questionable if they're banged up or something, but they could play. Let's just say, hey, either you get a pass or a fail. Those are the only two choices you get for this one.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Was it Kiffin last year that would have like the entire team as questionable? Like you just have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to get down to the end of their little list there. I like this approach better, man. If you're gonna play, you're gonna play. If you're not, you're not. Works for me. I'm happy with it. I was also wondering about, you got the full week, for the bye and everything. We know that they've been talking about tackling more, getting more physical at practice and everything. So I was like, it wouldn't be entirely surprising if we have a name or two pop up that we're not really excited about being on the injury report. No disrespect to anyone that's on it. And there's only a couple there that I guess we could qualify as semi-surprising or whatever, but it doesn't look like they were dealt any huge blows there in the injury department that were unforeseen during the bye.
Yeah, and I guess that's really what you just got more clarity on some of these injuries, and again, like the only one that I think is notable is the Oki one, because most of these, honestly, like I think people are surprised by the length of it, but some of these guys I don't think they were listing on the injury reports before. Like was Ishmael Cece, was he on the injury? He may have been early on, but like a lot of these are just guys like Monty Harrison, who's now just going to be on the injury report all the time. Now, of course, Jaylen Brown after breaking his leg. I think it's interesting because this implies that the bye week Arkansas actually did regain all their health with everyone else, but like nobody's 100% healthy. Every single team, and that's why you have these guys like Kiffin. You could literally pick and choose and be like, oh, well, that guy missed a play of practice, or that guy took a while to get up, or whatever. You could make anyone questionable, but I think it's a mentality thing. Bobby's just like, listen, you're not playing, all right, you're out. You're in, you're 100% healthy, fresh start, fresh everything. Let's just pretend that's the real world we live in.
Yeah, and so based on that, is there anybody that, and the answer could be no, but is there anybody that is not listed on being out that it's like, not maybe what you say it's worrisome, or maybe there's concern that they aren't 100% healthy? Like is there have been some guys that have been dealt with some lingering things, and who knows, maybe Cam Ball, he's drank his prune juice, or what was it? Was it prune juice? Whatever it was at Kevin Kopp's, beet juice. Maybe drank his beet juice and he's going to be good to go. But is there anybody that is a little bit interested to see like, I want to know how healthy they are, or how good they actually are?
No,
I can't think of anybody. Yeah,
I would say
because Kenai Walker played against Notre Dame, so
yeah, he's fine. The only ones I could think of would be two young guys that haven't really played at all, Selman Bridges and Antonio Jordan, because part of early on in the season, why they didn't play, we at least told ourselves, oh, well, they were banged up. And so now maybe after a bye week, if you're a young guy that was banged up earlier in the year, maybe this is your time. It's like, all right, I'm 100% healthy. We had a bye week, so maybe I can make my way up the depth chart. I don't think Antonio Jordan's going to play, but maybe Selman Bridges could.
Yeah, that's I keep forgetting about Antonio Jordan, man. That's a name that's famous around these parts. But
a good callback. You like that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, just keeping the name alive in some form or fashion there for Antonio Jordan. So either way, it looks to be though that Arkansas is going to be about as healthy as you could expect or to ask for them going into this game against Tennessee. The majority of their starters are going to be good to go. It's going to be interesting to see how the depth plays into this, and we know about Tennessee and their pace and their offense, and they're going to try to increase it. I mean, the name of the game is just going to be the offense trying to keep the defense off the field for Arkansas. Like, that's the thing is everybody loves the explosive plays. Everyone loves Bobby Petrino's, go deep downfield and all of that stuff, which, hey, if you score, it's great. No one's going to complain. But sheesh, it's almost like, hey, this defense, dude, if you want a chance in this one, you got to have some good methodical drives. You're going to have some scoring drives that last 5-6 minutes, maybe, ends in a touchdown. Because I just feel like if it ends up getting to the point to where you're looking in the first half, Tennessee's up by 2 touchdowns and they've possessed the ball for 9 minutes, you're like, oh gosh, it would just be really, really tough on that. So that's, to me, also going to be the key, is just the offense. You want them to score. I'm never going to complain for big explosive plays, but if I had a choice between big explosive plays that lead to touchdowns or long methodical drives that lead to touchdowns, I think the long methodical drive is going to be the key for this Razorback defense of having a chance in this one.
Well, then you'll be happy to hear that Bobby Petrino said at the Catfish Hole last night that he wants Braylon Russell to get more touches, baby.
Yeah.
A good week of practice. Hand that man the rock. 3 or 4 a pop, nickel and dime him down the field. Long, methodical, football drives. I love it.
Well, and also Tennessee really, I mean, they can, if they get a lead, of course, they'll start milking the clock if they need to, and they can run the ball pretty well. They do like to run the ball, but honestly, they got a little bit of quick strike to them, and so I think they could play into that if Arkansas, which wants to kind of change up the way they approach things, which they honestly have to do with this defense and the way that things lay out depth-wise. You kind of have to play some keep away. Tennessee, even with the quick strikes and the long plays they're going to have in the pass game, that actually might help. That's probably not the worst thing in the world. Arkansas gets beat over the top for 65. It's all right. Let's just put the offense back out there. 8-minute drive. Let's make it work.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, what was it yesterday? We were talking about the Bet Saracen over-under being 69.5 points. It's like, it could be that, but man, it would be. Could you guys agree that if it ends up being a low-scoring, gross game, that Arkansas wins? Am I the only one that feels that way? Like if it ends up being not exactly like it was a year ago, but if it, you think about these offenses and about the defenses and stuff, but the final score ends up being something like, 23-18, you're kind of like, I feel actually better that Arkansas won that game.
It would help, but I don't know if I see the case, but I don't know if I would go as far as be like, oh yeah, if it's low scoring, that means they're gonna win. But that'd probably favor them, I guess.
Okay.
Because if Tennessee only scores 20, something really weird happened.
Yeah. Suddenly, Bobby Petrino's defense and bringing in upgrading the guy to DC and bringing in old Hayes to be the D-line coach is the game changer, man.
You get those eyeballs in the right place, man. You get lined up correctly. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, get the stances correct, man. It all goes according to plan for sure. So, but yeah. So either way, that's your injury updates, and we're gonna have. I guess that was the last time we'll get to hear from Bobby, who was at the Catfish Hole last night, as you mentioned, Curtis, and. I didn't get a chance to listen to all of it, but just seeing it back there, I know I keep getting the nostalgia stuff, but I'm like, dude, I felt like the Catfish Hole thing really became a thing when Bobby Petrino was here at Arkansas, and him going back to it. It's like, of all the things that's changed, you've had additions to the stadium, you've had the practice facility built, you've had uniforms change, you've had athletic director. Everything has changed at the University of Arkansas since Bobby was head coach, except for the Catfish Hole. That is still going strong for the coaches show that happened last night. So, but either way, there's some other things too that we'll get into when it comes to for instance, the coaching update, as well as some of your chats and all of that great stuff. But first, I want to remind everybody that here on this show, of course, we're presented by our friends over at Bet Saracen. Speaking of, they are the best in the business when it comes to sports betting in the state of Arkansas. They have all the different specials that you could possibly choose from. And I know we'll go through some of those specials. And also for our pregame show that we'll have, by the way, at Goat Lab Red in Fayetteville, 1214 North Garland Avenue, starting about 2:30, 2:45 on Saturday. We'll see you there. But we'll be going through some of the specials that they have, some of the prop bets, some of the things that we really like, but it's also pretty mysterious, but that's what makes it so much fun. So if you're going to win money, do it with Bet Saracen. And if you go to the link that's in the description below, or if you scan that QR code on your screen, download the app, and then use that code inside AR, you get $125 when you bet your first $25. You're not going to get a better deal than that. It's an exclusive code just for you. So again, go to the link below or scan that QR code, download the Bet Saracen app, use that code inside AR, and get $125 when you bet $25 on the Bet Saracen app. All right, guys. So I know everyone's just always itching about coaching searches and who's the latest, who's doing what. We were talking about this in our text. I'm not hating on any reporters or anything like that, but I always love seeing like a notification that I get on my phone for On3. Anytime Arkansas is mentioned or Arkansas is brought in, it's like pops up with a notification. I got a notification this morning saying the latest coaching search, coaching carousel intel on what's going on in Arkansas's tag. It's like, oh boy, can't wait to see who's in the running here. And I went on and looked it up. And this is what makes me laugh about the absurdity of coaching searches in Arkansas. But I'm just going to read you what On3 had to say. It says, Arkansas is in the early phases of its coaching search. Among the list of popular names being thrown around is SMU's Rhett Lashley. Whoa, I hadn't heard that one. Tulane's John Sumrall. Whoa. USF's Alex Golish. And North Texas's Eric Morris. Interim head coach Bobby Petrino also has a legitimate shot to land the job. Blah, blah, blah. And then it goes, but Arkansas is not going to let Rhett Lashley off of or turn down the job that easily. On3 also reported that Deion Sanders had ties to athletic director Hunter Yurchik, but that speculation has cooled off. Also, Dan Mullen's 5-0. Like that's pretty much what like it just cracked me up, man, where it's got all these names and it's talking about, oh, they're looking at this among the list of names. And at the very end, doesn't say that Dan Mullen's connected, doesn't say he's been interviewed. It's just like, oh, by the way, he's 5-0. Great.
They looked at your poll, John, and they were like, damn, I guess we got to include something with Dan Mullen in here. He's 5-0, by the way, at UNLV. Yeah, groundbreaking stuff there. I appreciate the update. I wonder if like Virginia Tech or UCLA or Oklahoma State fans feel the same way about their blurb. You know what I mean? It's like, are they getting the same? Because it's all very much like, yeah, okay, the top 4 names on literally everyone's hot board, version 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.0 at this point. Let's just point out very vaguely that, oh yeah, those are names that are being talked about. Cool.
That, yeah, it's, I mean, I hate to be disrespectful, but it's like, it really is just going outside, seeing which direction the wind is blowing, and then just kind of following it. Because like you said, it's like, this is someone that has just a basic understanding of how Twitter works. You just scan 3 Arkansas Twitter accounts, you'll see all those names, all of that information. And then, I guess that's like part of the model there, is you're presenting this information like it's your own, but it is very interesting. The terminology used in it is all, these names are being mentioned. These are guys that have publicly commented on the job. Dan Mullen is 5-0, just stating facts. And it kind of looks like, oh, wow, that's a lot of intel. That's a lot of sourced information. That's a lot of really cool stuff. But if you really pay attention to the wording, it's literally just, here are the tweets that I read today. Here are the message board rumors that I took a look at.
Yeah, which goes to show you just what and I know you guys feel the same way, but what I try to say, no one knows anything when it comes to these types of things, and especially in this early going, no one knows anything. But you mentioned it, Curtis. I was just curious if you guys would be interested in the other teams that they have listed that have head coaching vacancies. Some like, because every name's got every school's got a funny name that's kind of funny in there. Let's go through those. I want to say there's names being mentioned, and there's a lot of similarities. But for Virginia Tech, who would be the funniest name that you think would be thrown around in there?
Shane Beamer.
He's one of them. I was going to say Shane Beamer or Clark Lee. Those are the 2 that's getting mentioned.
Clark with their ass every year, and they're like, let's get him.
Yeah.
It's not trying to downgrade.
Yeah, exactly. And then apparently, but they brought in Tampa Bay head coach Bruce Arians to consult on the process. I'm like, oh, okay. In that case,
well, I'm disappointed that that it wasn't in the reporting there that Arkansas brought in Nick Saban to consult.
That's true.
Their position,
that's true.
So.
I mean, yeah, that's what are we doing over here on 3? Come on now. Yeah, UCLA, the funniest name in that one. I'm just going to tell you guys because you won't get Ed Orgeron. So, but his name is cooled apparently, but he's still in the mix. But Ed Orgeron was there. Also, Dave Aranda. I'm like, why? I mean, like, okay.
I guess because I think he's about to get fired at Baylor, or maybe he's just looking for a way out.
I guess so. Oklahoma State, I will say there's a lot of the similarities there. But the funniest one I saw was Dana Holgerson. I'm like, oh man, nice. that'd be quite funny. Also, Todd, was it Montkin? Yeah, he was mentioned there. And then Stanford, poor Stanford. They literally just have one coach named as like just one, and it's Tavita Pritchard, who is the Washington Commanders quarterbacks coach.
Sheesh. Andrew Luck, what are we doing, bro?
Cliff Kingsbury's subordinate.
Because it says he's the former Stanford quarterback and offensive coordinator. This is and this is my favorite thing. He has a friendship with Andrew Luck dating back to their playing career on the farm.
Maybe Andrew Luck should just coach him.
That's it. Yeah. Imagine if that was Arkansas's blurb right there. Just be like, well, you got this one guy that's in the NFL that's a quarterback's coach because he had a friendship with the guy that's helping consult the place. I'm like, golly, just a miserable existence. But either way, so yeah, there's the latest, guys. There's the latest. You heard it here first. Coaching searches, all of that stuff. Man, so much fun. So because go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, those have been. It kind of reminds me of the basketball search because we knew that we were going to have one well before we did. And the entire time it was 3 names, right? Because we were like, okay, it's Chris Beard, it's Jerome Tang, or it's Will Wade. And then it wasn't, it was John Calipari. Is this going to be the deal where it's just like, okay, it's Lashley, it's Mullen, it's Summerall, and then it's just not? going to be one of those guys. It just seems like it's never the ones that you have the smoke for. My thought process is maybe since it's going to be such a long, drawn out search here that it'll cool. You'll have some crazy names, and then it'll just eventually circle back to who you thought it was all along. Like maybe this one will actually go according to plan, but very rarely is that ever the case. So I wonder what crazy names are going to emerge here over the course of the next couple months.
The thing that's interesting here is that we have so much time to figure this out. Whereas the basketball one, yeah, we knew it was coming, and there was some time before Muss actually left. But even that whole process was just like a 2-3 week thing overall. Yeah. And so it is just kind of interesting where even in that one, you had time to circle out to a name that was not on the board at all. It's going to be fascinating to see what this looks like. But yeah, we've reached the point of the coaching search where it was like hot and heavy early. The first few days of the coaching search, it was like, I think they're going to hire John Gruden, and it's going to be today. And now it's kind of calmed down to, hey, nothing's happening. And I think some of these guys like Nakos and some of these national guys probably realize that, where they probably aren't hearing a ton of stuff, and it's because there's not a ton of stuff happening. All these coaches mentioned, aside from someone like Gruden, are coaching right now and are like not even – coaching like just a few games here and there, have like 7 games left on their schedule. So there's just a lot, I think there's a reason why a lot of those names that we all kind of went to originally, like the Golishes, like the Summeralls and all that, the reason why we're not hearing much smoke is because they're all doing busy work right now. Like they're all kind of, if it is going to be one of those guys, to your point, I think it's going to come out way later, like in 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think, I think like as far as me being in the quote media, this is going to be my 5th coaching search. And then I, of course, followed the Gus Malzahn, Houston Nutt, Bobby Petrino era. That was really my first taste of message boards and everything. And it's just funny because, you think about technology and social media and how it's developed and, the like college game, NIL, like everything's changed so much, but I cannot help but just look around and be like, coaching searches will stay the same no matter what. It's still the same stuff. There's still people that will put stuff out there that they have no idea. There are people that will like listen to somebody on a message board saying that they know somebody that killed somebody. And so therefore that they have insider knowledge. It's those things are all the same. So, but what would you guys say is the percentage you'd put on it that of the names, at least the realistic names, because I'm sure everyone said every name, but of the names that legitimately been connected or mentioned with Arkansas, that it actually ends up being one of those guys? Like, we'll say all the 6 or 7 that we just mentioned from Nakos. What are the chances percentage-wise that it's actually one of those names that ends up being?
I mean, it's got to be pretty high. It's okay, and Bobby was in that, right?
Yeah, yes, Bobby was in it.
Oh shoot, 80%.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot of names. You know what I mean? And Bobby as the sitting interim, I think it's pretty high.
I would agree. It's not impossible. It's not 100% because the Calipari thing did just happen.
Right.
But I think if Hunter Yurachek is still going to be the athletic director at Arkansas, they're probably not going to have some big outside the box crazy thing that is going to require a lot of change and a huge swing and a real bold move. It's probably going to be just kind of your run of the mill, promote the G5 guy that's been doing well, the name that everyone says it should be. Like, it'll be something like that. And I think these guys, there's a reason they're all listed. They all have a case. Golish, there's a case for him. There's a case for Summerall, all that. The reason that they're all kind of listed is because they just kind of make sense. And I think Arkansas is going to wind up doing something that makes sense. I don't think they're going to try and push the envelope too much. I would love to be proven wrong, but I would agree with that 75-80% that it ends up being one of these top 5-6 guys everyone's been floating.
See, and that's the thing is I agree with you guys, but I just continue to look at the coaches and the hires. It's like you think about the last one before Pittman was hired. Pittman, I don't believe, was like in the early parts of it, wasn't in the top 10 names being thrown around. Before that, Chad Morris, a little bit maybe, like as far as, but it was mainly like Malzahn or Norvell. Yeah, he was a lot of that. And then before that, no, Brett Bielema was not on anyone's top 50 list when that happened. And Petrino, even in the early goings, he wasn't even a thought until his agent called up Jeff Long and said, hey, Bobby wants out of this bleep show. Like, can you help him out here? And boom. So that's the thing is it's like, and then the basketball coach that you mentioned, the Cal thing, I feel like Muss was still the most normal coaching search Arkansas has ever had, where Muss was, I don't know what, maybe you remember more, Curtis, but I don't feel like Muss was like, he was in the top 5 of the conversation, maybe top 7 in the very early goings. Yeah, it was like Sampson, Chris Beard. But yeah,
they got fired at Wichita State.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, man.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Yes. Was it Fred? It's not Fred Marshall.
Greg
Marshall. Yeah. Greg Marshall. Yeah. So like that may have been the most normal coaching search that Arkansas had. And then the Mike Anderson one, I was like, I mean, you didn't do anything. Like, you just had to be like, hey, Mike, you want the job? Sure. Let's go. Like, it made sense. So point is, it's like, there's a lot of cases where it hasn't always gone like this.
Does anybody remember? This is before my time of even understanding what a coaching search was, I guess. But like the Stan Heath, do we remember who else was?
Yes.
like John Pelfrey. I mean, obviously we know one in particular, but I just don't remember all the names that were connected to those particular searches for hoops back in the day. Outside of Dana Altman and that whole fiasco, I don't. Some of those prior ones I don't really remember.
Well, the Stan Heath one, Bill Self was the guy who wanted the job.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, he wanted the job.
That's right.
And there are reasons why Stan Heath was hired. Now, when the Dana Altman thing happened, Stan Heath got fired. Yeah, Dana Altman was obviously he was up there because, I mean, he done a good job at Creighton. He's a good coach. But it was him. There were still some people that wanted Mike Anderson to return, but it was still like young. I think he was still at UAB at the time, maybe. So still kind of like, and I think it was too close, to what happened. So I think that there was names for him. Honestly, the one that I ironically remember, Kelvin Sampson was big, like before they hired, Dana Altman that went to Pelfrey, because I want to say he was at Oklahoma at the time, and he was doing a really good job at Oklahoma. Kelvin Sampson was. So those are at least the names that I remember popping up. I'm sure there were different ones, but also that was pre-social media and when everybody was going along with it. But I'll never forget the Bobby Petrino one, because the names there legitimately that they interviewed was Tommy Tuberville. Was it Al Grobe, I think was his name, the Wake Forest coach. And then Tommy Bowden.
Bowden was the one I remember.
Oh, old tater tot coming in there. Like, yeah, dude, like come on, man. So either way, you ended up with Bobby Petrino, and the rest is history. But the point is coaching searches are fun. And it's just fun sometimes it's fun to look back on how emotional and how like invested and how like pissed off or how insane people got, and then seeing the results following it. Because sometimes it was like, oh, nice. And other times it was like, what are we doing here? But there's some coaches that failed miserably, but everybody was like, dude, this is a good hire. This is going to work out. And there are other ones that was like, man, this is a terrible hire. And it actually ended up working out. Because I will remember vividly, folks, there were people that were really mad that Bobby Petrino got hired. They're like, he failed in the NFL. Why would he come here and succeed? Well, it's just how people are, I guess.
I think the thing that I'm kind of curious about, and we've heard some national guys talk about this, but not really, is how does everyone view the Arkansas job? Because in most of these situations where they're hiring a coach, the Petrino situation that year, not really as much, because they were coming off of an 8-4 year or whatever. And the Bielema year, weirdly enough, that was probably the lowest, because they were coming off a 4-8 year, such a disaster. They're able to get Bielema. But in a lot of these years, like the year they hired Sam Pittman, the year they hired Chad Morris, you could even argue the year they hired Pelfrey, or even the year they hired Mike Anderson, you're coming off of such a weird low as a program. And so, of course, you're not going to get your top option. But obviously we saw, coming off of Muss's tenure, you're able to get Cal. Coming off of Mike Anderson's tenure, where the program was in a very good spot, they were able to get one of those guys like Muss, who is in that initial top 3 to 5. I just don't know, is the Arkansas football job in that same echelon of like post Mike Anderson Arkansas basketball, where they could, they don't have to get said no by 7 guys before they go to their guy, like they've done for the last 2 football coaching searches.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you listen to with Yurchek and all he said, he's like, hey, whatever next coach, they're going to be fully supported financially to be set up for high level success. So, I mean, who wouldn't want the job? But I will say real quick, another fun thing that just popped in my head, the John L. Smith thing, I don't even count as a coaching search, because it's like they did that. However, there was a time, guys, where there was a certain coach who interviewed, wanted the job, but just did not want the job for 1 year. Like it was being set up, and that guy was Philip Fulmer. Philip Fulmer interviewed for the job for Arkansas, and he wanted it to be a full-time gig. And Jeff was like, no, we just need a year guy. And he's like, well, I'm not doing that. I was like, could you imagine if they gave the job to Philip Fulmer? Like dude, like that guy had guns and cash in safes, and he would just open them up with the recruits and be like, take what you want. Like that dude was shady as could be, man. But it would have been entertaining, no doubt. So, which, hey, perfect segue, because that leads us into our Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by our friends over at Alumni Hall. It's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. They have all the greatest and latest Razorback apparel known to man. I'm telling you, there's other stores that are around here, and that's all well and good and stuff. But when you come to selection, when you come to the high-end, high-quality clothing and apparel, nothing comes close to Alumni Hall. Everyone knows it when they walk into the store, and you also know it when you shop them online at InsideArkansas.com/Alumni Hall. Shop them online, InsideArkansas.com/Alumni Hall. Use that code HOGSBY20 to get 20% off your purchase. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. And guys, I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I just wanted to throw it pretty directly, because we, as our big, very accurate coaching search survey for Razorback fans, has Dan Mullen leading the charge when it comes to being the next head coach of Arkansas. It's a simple thing that if, and it's a big if, but if Arkansas was to beat Tennessee this Saturday, does that make Bobby Petrino the front runner officially? I'm not saying he deserves the job, but does that make him the clubhouse leader, the front runner for the Razorback head football coaching job? And as of right now, 72% say yes. If he beats Tennessee, he becomes the front runner. Do you guys believe he also becomes the front runner if he beats Tennessee?
Yeah, I do. I mean, because he's the guy who is currently in the interview process for the job. Like he's auditioning right now, so that would be a huge check in the pro column for him. And these other guys, we know they're using the like little search firm and the intermediaries and everything. But yeah, like these other coaches are worried about their seasons and their teams that they're coaching right now. And you might be able to gauge some interest or whatever, but you're not getting that deep in these conversations. So if Petrino is going to win the job or lose the job, it's going to happen a hell of a lot quicker than we figure out who's really going to take this job for Arkansas out of this other list of candidates. So yeah, if he has a big, success on the road against a top 15 team, then yeah, I think it does. Now there's a big difference in that. And I'm saying remove the interim tag and give him the job now. No.
Yeah.
I would just put him in the pole position after, one of 7 or 8 or however many laps.
Yeah, and it's a very different conversation. If we want to argue, should he be the front runner? Should that give him that lead to get the job? Should he be the guy? That's a conversation that we could have. But in terms of would he be the front runner, I think it's 100%. I mean, dude, there's a decent portion of the fan base who kind of already deep in their hearts, they might not even admit it publicly. I think they kind of do view him as like the guy who it's his job to lose. And so, yeah, if he goes out there on the road and beats Tennessee, which would be a big deal. Like, I think people are, if you're saying no to this question, I think you're underselling how big of a deal that's going to be and how big the reaction is going to be. There's a lot of Hog fans who love Bobby, and even if they don't have him number one right now, if they saw him beat Tennessee, it wouldn't be that hard for them to talk themselves into it. And again, it wouldn't mean he gets the job, but that would make him, I would say, probably the early front runner, if only for a moment.
Yeah, see, and I feel the same way. And then if they beat Tennessee, because you're talking about you being undefeated and like you're 1-0, you actually won a game, you won an SEC game, and you did it in a fashion against a really good team. Yeah, it would just turn everything on its head, and it would be so chaotic. And I'm just saying, guys, that I would go from and I'll be honest, if he beat Tennessee, I'm like, you know what, I could see 6-1 the rest of the way. I could see this team doing that. Like I would. Because it's like if you're able to beat Tennessee now, it'd come crashing down if they lost to A&M. Although Bobby has never lost to A&M as a head coach for Arkansas. I'm just saying he's undefeated. But still, point is that it would really turn some things on its head. So my next question to you guys, the administration, board of trustees, boosters, donors, your check, whoever is all in charge and all involved in this coaching hire process, do you think they are secretly rooting for Petrino to win? Or do you think they want him to lose? Do you think that they want him to where it makes it easy? Just an easy, hey, we don't have to worry about dealing with agents and negotiations. We can just make this happen. Or is there part of them like, man, we don't really want to even be putting ourselves in that position, so we really hope he makes it easy for us and he loses so that way we could just move on? Like, where do you think that they would stand on that particular situation?
Probably depends on which one you ask. You know what I mean? Like, but it's well, I know that it's a fairly split crowd over there in terms of the people with the backing and the influence and everything like that, there's a faction that would love for Bobby to have the job, and there's a faction that's probably not crazy about it. So I guess it would depend on who you were talking to in that situation. But the easiest way through this, I think, would be for Bobby to win a bunch of football games, and the guy that you've already have in house could take over. And, that's probably going to be the best deal that you could get from a financial standpoint to set some other things up that you're working to do. So if I had to answer in a vacuum, that would be my answer. But I definitely think it's probably a little bit more back and forth, depending, like if you went around the room, like a show of hands, it'd probably be fairly split, I would imagine.
I would say there's almost guaranteed to be at least a few people in that room, whether they're boosters or board of trustee members or whoever, that probably feel the way that like the Dan Wolken feels, of how you're worried that like Bobby's going to win 2 games, the fan base is going to fall in love with him, and then you hire him full time, and then it goes to a disaster. I'm sure there's some people who feel that way, where they're like, I'm not sold on this thing, and they're worried he's going to win enough games to win enough favor and get the job. But in terms of like, going into that, I'd say the vast majority, like you said, John, are hoping that this is kind of their easy way out. For Hunter Yurachek, if Bobby's the head coach, that's the easiest way for him to keep his job. Like, no doubt about it. I also think the thing that's important to consider here is, if you're going to hire Bobby as the head coach, it's going to cost you substantially less money than whoever else you are. Even if you hired Dan Mullen, it would cost you more money to hire Dan Mullen than it would to hire Bobby, in all likelihood. And you saw that list of the top highest paid coaches. There's like 20 coaches in the country that are making $8 million or more. You would not have to pay Bobby anywhere near that. And so I think also it wouldn't be that hard for these boosters to talk themselves in and say, well, instead of raising all this money to hire a new coach, why don't we just spend all our money on the NIL? Why don't we just spend all our money here? And I think it wouldn't take too long for them to do that mental gymnastics. So all in all, I would say yes, they are hoping he wins, because that would be the easiest way for the administration to navigate these waters, probably.
Yeah, because let's be honest, does anybody, and I'm talking to, and I'm not saying they're at fault for this, but is anybody like Yurachek or the board or whoever, does anybody like dealing with agents? No. And that's all you deal with when it comes to coaching searches. That's all you deal with is agents. You deal with Jimmy Sexton. You do it and you're like, man, is this real? Are you really saying this person's interested, or are you just trying to get them a raise? Are you saying that you want this, but you want that? Like, it's a headache that I'm sure, I know I wouldn't want to deal with. And if it's something to where it's like, hey, we got this guy right here, makes it easy for us, let's go ahead and go and do it. I know I'm full of questions today, guys, but my next question would be, for the games and winning those games, say, how many games into this does he need to win for you to take that interim off? Like, do you say if he started 2-0 or 3-0, like, would you officially take the interim off? Or is it still, hey, we got to wait till the end of the season no matter what? Because you got to think about the recruiting. You got to think about the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You got to think about all that. Like, how many wins to start? Like, to start off, would you need to get to say, all right, the interim's out, this is our guy?
Oh my gosh, man. Listen, if he beats Tennessee and Texas A&M, I will be saying remove it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, me too.
But I think the answer to that question is probably a little bit more than that. To make it a no-brainer for me, you like it, if we're doing this method here, you beat Tennessee, you win those 3 home games. Because the other 2 outside of A&M, I'm not saying you should win them, but they're your best opportunities left on the schedule to win games. And you would avoid doing they got up for a big game or 2 and had some big wins, but then they came back home and they lost to some shitty teams. You don't want that, right? Because it's then just kind of like more of the same of what we've been dealing with. So I'm gonna go. If it's me, it's 2, these next 2. But if I'm thinking about when they would actually consider doing that in season, it would be beat Tennessee, win the 3 home games, 4 in a row, you're bowl eligible, and then it's like, wow, okay, these dudes are really rolling.
You would also be going right into a bye week. Arkansas's bye week comes after that November 1st weekend, which is the Mississippi State game, right after that 4-game stint that you're referencing, Curtis. I think that is a time for them to reevaluate. That bye week, you'll have a 4-game sample size. You'll have had 3 home games. You'll have played some really good competition, some average competition. So, if you're 3-1 or 4-0, I think it's extremely possible they remove the interim tag that week. And by the way, for everyone saying, well, guys, they're not going to go 3-1. Well, obviously not. We're talking about an hypothetical world. If they go 1-3 in that 4-game stretch, very different conversation. Obviously, in that situation, they would not remove the interim tag. They'd let it roll out. But if we're asking the question of how many wins would it take, I think 3 wins over the next 4 weeks. I think you could even afford to lose to A&M or lose to Tennessee. You win 3 of these next 4 games, I think at that point there would be a firm enough push for Bobby Petrino to be the full-time head coach. At that point, he would at least, at the absolute very least, be the firm front runner.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, Curtis, where I was thinking if they won these next 2, I would say, hey, let's just go ahead and let's roll this belt,
that'd be 2 of the top 10 teams in college football. Really,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that would be notable.
Yeah, you would be, and one of them being on the road and doing it in that way. And also that comes with the assumption, which we know what assuming does, but it comes with the assumption that like the defense did drastically improve. You know, they did get better at the little things. The offense continued to be great. The decision-making late in games, not blowing these leads, actually being able to run the ball effectively. Like all these things come with that assumption. It's not just like, well, you know, the entire Tennessee roster came down with mad cow disease. And so this, you know, you got to win that. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about legitimately beating these teams. It would make the difference. And, you know, again, if you beat Tennessee, I'm going to be looking at the rest of the year being like, hey, I could see 5 total wins of these 7. If you beat Tennessee and A&M, I'm like, you go undefeated the rest of the way. That's how stupid I'm going to get. Is like, that's how dumb I'm going to be. Is that if they beat Tennessee and A&M, I'm like, you're going to beat Texas, you're going to beat LSU, you're going to win them all, and you know you're going to beat Missouri. And just think how electric that would be if you were 6 straight games going into that Missouri game. And you know, if you win, you go 7-1 the SEC play, and you might even play for an SEC title game. I know I'm talking crazy, but I want these things to happen. This would just be so fun.
John, we're starved for this kind of irrational thinking, man. Like as Razorback fans, I don't think we ask for too much. Like we're not too greedy with our expectations. We just want above mediocre, right?
Yeah.
Above that, just a step above it. That's okay. And we don't need that much to start talking crazy, to start thinking crazy, to start getting a little bit wild with the hypotheticals there. Yeah, so let's go get these couple wins and just give us that. And if it all comes crashing and burning down in front of Quinn and Auburn in a couple weeks after that, so what? At least we got to have our moment, you know?
What's going to be tough, though, is when they go to Tennessee and find that perfect happy middle where they lose by like 6. And it's like very obvious, like, oh, they're a way better football team. They were tough. They were disciplined. Like, damn, that's a good squad. So then our imaginations are still running free. Yet you're still looking at a 2-4 team, and you're like, you know, it's like that's also like 1,000% what's going to happen. I might actually bet on Arkansas to cover but not win, because I think that's like what we're staring in the face here.
Well, because listen, guys, 2025 is the year of the hog. Okay, basketball. I know. Hey, listen, you didn't go all the way, but you went to the Sweet 16. You know, it was fun. Baseball, you know, but hey, you went to Omaha again. You were one of the best teams. You had a Golden Spikes winner. How about football get a little love? You know, how about they also have some fun and some craziness down this stretch? Because as we've talked about a bunch, guys, I know we're going to move on, but this SEC is still pretty freaking wide open. I'm not saying Arkansas is one of those teams. I'm just saying it's not this type of conference where you're like, dude, you have 0 chance against these teams, and these teams. Because no one really knows who's good right now. And there's a lot that can change. You know, like Alabama and Missouri playing this week, it could change people's thoughts on either team. Same thing with Oklahoma, Texas, could change their thoughts on either team. So it's just a matter of, you know, looking at it now through looking at it 2 weeks from now, we could be in a completely different reality of college football and where Arkansas stands at. So either way, it's fun. It's fun to dream. It's just fun to dream. We'll get to your chats. We'll get to some more things here on the show, folks. But I want to remind everybody that OZK Insurance, the official insurance company here at Inside Arkansas, we know that nobody wants to deal with the hassle of shopping around. I mean, you talk about coaching searches, not want to deal with agents. Well, you don't want to have to deal with all these different agents from all over the place trying to find your insurance. That's why we recommend OZK Insurance. They're based right here in Arkansas, and they shop multiple carriers for you to find the best coverage and price. Whether it's home, auto, business, you name it, they do it. And they're always going to have that protection that you can count on, because that's something that makes you feel so secure when it comes to your insurance, is being protected. And they're going to make sure that they have that protection you can count on. So get a free online quote at ozkinsurance.com. That's ozkinsurance.com, or call 479-715-4200. That's 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. So, but yeah, I'm here for the chaos, mainly just also too, guys, because I'm not a big fan of the national media, especially in college football for the most part. There's some people I like. There's some people I really don't. But, man, you talk about putting their heads in a pretzel. If Petrino was awesome and, like, one, they'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do with my life. It's kind of like the same thing when basketball, when Cal was like, everyone's just cooking Cal. He's toast. He goes to the Sweet 16. Everyone's like, well, he didn't go to the Final Four. So, he's still not good. It's like I would just love to see them in that mindset where they don't know what to do with their hands because they're so mad, but it would be great. All right, let's get to some of your chats. Sure, you guys got some bangers in here. Let's see. We got Trevor Park Sark just says, bowl prediction, Hogs will win 5 one-score games this year. By the way, I am 0-4 on bowl predictions. So good to know.
Yeah, me too. So I get it.
5 one-score games this year.
Well,
that's
they
a
haven't.
lot.
Yeah, that's literally they win 5 of their last 7 because they have yet to win a one possession game. So yeah, like that would be impressive. That'd be impressive. And also, as a fun little fact, it would be the first time Arkansas has had a winning record in the SEC since 2015. So it's been that long where they went 7-5. So stupid.
7-5, 5-3. That was crazy.
I hated it so much. Let's see. David says, can you guys elaborate on what the beef allegedly was between T. Will and Bobby P? I assume he's talking about that report about them getting into an altercation or whatever.
This is not me or us reporting this, but as it was explained, I never remember that dude's name who put that out there, but it was about, because we know that Bobby likes the practices tailored towards the offense and stay off my quarterback and don't be quite as fit. Don't take him to the ground and everything like that. And so there was some of that guy was alleging that they were arguing about, like maybe the defense was being too physical with his players for his liking or whatever. And then there was something else to it. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and listen to the rest. That was part of it.
Wasn't it like there was, because kept getting the reports of that, how the first team or the second team was just cooking the defense, like just going straight down the field, going for big plays. Maybe there was something like that where Bobby just like throw a Hail Mary, four streaks downfield to start the practice, making them look bad. I don't know. But yeah, what Curtis said was kind of the biggest part of it.
I think there's a chance, given who it came from, I think there's a chance that is a David Churl job, because he knows what things we talk about all the time and likes to make us repeat ourselves.
Yeah. Well,
I think we may have gotten duped there.
Yeah, well, it's hard to keep up with the trolls around here anyways. So let's see. Also, you got Hickory Hawk saying there are just too many deciding factors that aren't decided yet. Plus, having a plan that works out is not really Arkansas's thing, which, yeah, that's kind of the point that we were trying to make and talking about, like coaching searches and people who may know or may not know. It's like, is there a plan? Maybe. But you know what every AD is going to say when they hire their coach in that press conference? We got the man we wanted. We had this. We went out and executed this plan. It was perfect. Like, no, dude, come on, man. You had 18 people say no to you, and so you ended up with. So, I mean, they're always going to get people lying to you and doing all that stuff. Something happened.
Yeah,
to Curtis.
it is what Hickory Hog. What you're expecting people to do is people to have an opinion and then be willing to change it and be willing to adjust to the circumstances, which I just don't think is going to happen in the state of Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not. It's never. That's just again. That's how these coaching searches go. Jakota says, would BP end up being our Muss of football? Get us relevant again. Get him to at a somewhat discount. I don't know if we got Muss cheap or not. Make football fun again. Then someone like Cal comes in after. Man, I think that's asking a lot, but it depends. Like it depends on what you mean by relevant. Again, like you're talking about just because Muss. Here's the thing about Muss. Muss got you to a level you hadn't been in 25 years. He got you to 3 straight Sweet 16s and 2 Elite 8s. Like, so what would be the equivalent of Arkansas football getting to somewhere you haven't been in 25 years? Like, did the SEC title game or something? Like,
I would say getting back to that 9-10. If they had a 10-win season, even if it was a 10-3 season, that would be the first time they did it since 2011, which would be not quite, that. I mean, that's 15 years, not quite as many. But I would say getting back to that type of level. Honestly, Jakota, like, I'm not saying Bobby couldn't be it. I think I would, if you're hiring a goalish or a Summerall, that would be what you have in mind, is that, hey, we're getting this guy who's an up-and-coming, I don't know if you can call him up-and-coming because he was like 50 years old, but a guy that had a mid-major job that everyone could see was primed for a high-major job. You get him and he takes you to that level. I think that would be the premise. If you're hiring Summerall or Golish or someone in that group of 5 range, Muss is kind of who you would have in mind, low-key.
Yeah, but it's just funny because, and I'm not like, hating on you, Jacoda. It's just funny because you almost like you're thinking about not this coach, but then the coach after the next coach of like, hey, could this guy, bring us the next guy that's big? Maybe so. But let's, again, be very honest about this. Razorback football is not Razorback basketball or Razorback baseball. It's not the same thing. It doesn't mean you can't be competitive. It doesn't mean you can't win. It doesn't mean you can't have all these things. But, the idea of you getting to a Muss and getting to a Cal, that makes sense in basketball. It would make sense in baseball. But in football, man, it would have to take a lot for you to get to that point. Because it's always about, when Bobby Petrino got fired, I think my mindset was as Razorback fans were like, oh, we're one of the best top 10, top 15 jobs in the country. Well, why? Well, because we've won. And Bobby proved we could win. It's got to be kind of the same thing. So you have to have a coach that wins consistently at Arkansas for you to get to that next level. So Seth just says, what do we think about that Georgia Tech coach? I don't even know who the Georgia Tech coach is.
It's Brent Key. Listen, the Georgia Tech coach is one of the best coaches in the country. The only thing is he's a Georgia Tech grad, I'm pretty sure. And honestly, he has a way easier job there than he would have at Arkansas. So, I would love to have him. I think he would, if Arkansas could get him, sure. But I think I can't imagine he's a serious candidate at Arkansas. I just don't think Arkansas is in a spot to get a guy like that. If I'm being 100% honest, and I know that makes me sound like Hunter Yurchek, but.
Yeah. And then also Trey says they have a 10-win season. We were talking playoffs, right? Well, they can't get to a 10-win season this year. I guess unless you're saying that they won out and then went to the SEC title game and then won the SEC title, then yes, you are in the playoffs because it's a automatic. But yes, to let you know, that's the case. But listen, again, there's going to be, you got to let these games play out because I'm telling you right now, a week from now, we'll probably be having a completely different conversation after that Tennessee game. We'll probably be like, oh gosh, why did we even think this team had a chance against Tennessee? Like, why did this happen so quickly and go so poorly so quickly for everything else too? So, but either way, we'll have some more things to talk about here on the show. We'll continue to get to your chats, folks, but also want to remind everybody that the official law firm here of Inside Arkansas is Hickey and Hull Law. We know that so many cases are really tough to deal with when it comes to your legal advice, especially when it comes to divorce and custody cases, because that's dealing with kids, that's dealing with family, that's dealing with things that are very important to you. Well, look no further than getting the help that you need and that you deserve from the best, and it's Hickey and Hull Law. They have offices in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, as well as Mena. They cover the entire state of Arkansas, and they're going to help you with all your legal advice. So don't do it alone. Do it with the pros of Hickey and Hull by calling them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhull.com. Scan that QR code on the screen. It'll take you there as well. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. All right. So let's see. Also, Cole was saying that what plane were you tracking? I wasn't tracking a plane. I was just making a joke on Twitter. I assume that's what you were talking about. So no, plane tracking's overrated. It's done. There's no more reason to plane track anymore. They're too good at that, and they're too good at going around it. Oh, do we have a Tennessee fan? Sweet. Slick 420. Sorry, calling his shot. 55-21, Tennessee. So it took you this long, Slick, until Thursday to finally get into the chat and start talking some trash. So good. Have we had a fan for every fan base so far this year, except for Alabama A&M in our game day chat or game week chats?
Yeah, and what's funny is the Arkansas State fan was the most loud one. He was the most prominent one for sure.
Yeah. I assume so. Like, it was just funny because I'm like, man, we just, I can't remember if we had a Notre Dame one. I kind of blacked out and kind of had just erased that entire week and game from the memory.
At least one or two.
Yeah.
At least one or two Notre Dame guys.
Yeah. That's right. Also, Jacoda says, Curtis, I'm sorry for comparing Muss to BP. I don't know enough basketball like you. Please accept my apologies. I will be better going forward.
I didn't even say anything about that. Like, I didn't even say a word. I didn't get a word in that conversation. So I apologize to John or Andrew. I didn't.
I guess
I didn't even address it.
I said that hiring Golish or Summerall would be more like hiring Muss. But no, I thought that was like a solid premise.
Yeah. Also, let's see. Trey says, okay, question. So starting next year, colleges can have patches on jerseys. LSU has already inked the deal. How long will it take Hunter Yurchek to get us one? Can we set the over under? Still no naming rights for the stadium.
I mean, they do have end zone, or not end zone. They do have logos on the actual football field. I feel like you should be able to get one of those. Like I could see a JB Hunt on Arkansas's jersey, although it doesn't seem like JB Hunt is crushing it these days. But I feel like Arkansas could get one of those, but it'll probably take 3 years.
Yeah, I think so too. Like it's going to be like everything else, taken forever, even though it should be taken care of pretty quickly. But again, they just slow on everything at this point in time.
I know a great company out of Mexico that can help you find your jersey patch sponsor. So we should maybe get a deal with them, split the earnings with them.
Why do you know a company out of Mexico?
I'm just trying to appeal to Hunter Yurachek. I thought he'd reach out if he heard something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Also, too, by the way, I was going to bring this up because we were talking about coach searches and everything. Could be worse. You could have a situation like you have over in North Carolina with Bill Belichick and that whole thing. Because somebody was bringing that up with the way of there were some reports that there were some preliminary discussions about Bill Belichick needing an exit strategy. Then you have a joint statement by both Bill Belichick and the AD saying, "Hey, we're committed to the job itself." So, that's something to where you always think it's pretty bad or pretty rough where it's at for you. It'd be worse. You could be North Carolina with Bill Belichick, and especially how much money you're paying him right now.
Was there another job here just not too long ago that was like the preliminary looking at getting a way out or something?
Maybe Kentucky?
Okay, yeah, that's what
Matt
I think
Jones was talking about that the other day.
Yeah, there's like the rumor going around that him and his agent had gone in there and said, "Hey, let's negotiate this buyout, get me the hell out of there," or whatever. The North Carolina stuff is crazy. I'm getting ready to give away my heavy hitter, but I'll think of something else before we do it. Since we're talking about it, did you guys see that the student body president, like the kid at North Carolina, he got interviewed by The Athletic or whatever, and he's demanding an independent review of the football program.
Oh, wow.
He's going on this whole stump about it, trying to win re-election and throw Bill Belichick and those guys under the bus, man. It's crazy over there.
Hey, what a leader, man.
This is great for Hubert Davis, right? Because he's like very much underachieving and everything, and probably hot seat-ish or whatever for that basketball program. We know they care more about that over there, but this whole charade with Belichick and football and everything, it's taken some heat off of that man. Good for Hubert. He's probably going to have his best year now.
They're probably never going to invest in anything other than basketball ever again, too. So they're probably going to start funneling all that money. But yeah, I don't know what's worse, having to put out a joint statement that says that you are retaining the coach that is 4 years or 4 games into his tenure. I don't know what's worse, the idea that you had to clarify that you're not firing him, or the fact that you are going to retain him and pay him $10 million a year when he actively stinks.
Yeah, I don't know what. First off, when the student body president or whatever, I don't think they've ever accomplished anything to that level. And being in the say is like, oh, suddenly it's like, well, you know what? We thought about just keep going. But once the student body president came out and said that we had to do an independent review, then maybe we need to do it. Yeah, I don't buy that. But things are just bad over there in North Carolina. I know it's more of a basketball school, but if I was a North Carolina football fan, it'd be like, geez, how did we get to this point so quickly? It's like been an off season of nonsense with the whole Bill Belichick girlfriend stuff and all of that, and then that you're just getting destroyed right and left. And now after 5-6 games, you have to have a statement saying, no, we're committed to this. Like, it's just a disaster, an absolute unmitigated disaster at North Carolina football.
The joint head coach AD statement is just never a good sign. It's not surprising that both of them are like one sentence long, and that's crazy over there. When the student body president is, rallying against you too, that's nuts. I'm going to read his quote real quick. It'll take like 20 seconds, but he said, "I do think the university should launch an independent review of the culture that's happening within the team in the locker room, because I think that there should be zero tolerance for non-compliance. Even though sometimes student athletes can be seen as young professional players, at the end of the day, they're students, they're young, and they're part of our community. They're under a lot of pressure, and they're very often under the national media circus, especially right now with Coach Belichick. That shouldn't come at the cost of their well-being, and their families also deserve to feel included, and they deserve to feel like they're getting the same consistency that UNC was known for under our last coach." Shout out to Mac Brown.
Shout out to Mac Brown.
Mac, they shouldn't have fired him, to be honest.
I mean, if you're gonna force out one washed up coach, just to bring in an overpaid, even older coach, it's like that is a little tough.
Yeah. Well, I think North Carolina's kind of been known for that. I feel like because what was it, Butch Davis, which I know worked out for a split second, but he was old when they hired him. So it just feels like they like the old football coaches that may work out at some point in time. So, by the way, something happened with Finebaum. Why is everyone in the chat talking about Finebaum show?
I looked into it. I couldn't find anything, but people were saying like R.I.P. Paul Finebaum, and I don't know if like that's well,
let's hope he's not passed. Good grief, but yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything on that as well. By the way, as a reminder, folks, for this weekend, we are going to, of course, be watching the Razorback football game against Tennessee starting at 3:15. I know everybody's going to be involved. Everyone's going to be watching. Everyone's going to be having a good time with it. Well, come have a good time with us because we're going to be at Goat Lab Red over there in Fayetteville, 1214 North Garland Avenue, and you can come hang out with us. We're going to do a live stream watch party. We're going to have our commentary because you don't want to hear, I don't even know who's commentating. It doesn't matter, but you don't want to hear that biased, hating on Arkansas all the time commentators. You want to hear us give the commentating. So come hang out with us as we'll be able to be there at Goat Lab, and they're going to have their progressive wing night day during that, where the wings start at $1 and then the price drops with every score. And when the Hogs score, it's double. So I'm telling you right now, if you want free wings and you want them quick, I feel like this is the time to do it, considering how these two offenses score a bunch of points. If you think it's going to be hitting that over, then this will be the time to do it. But yeah, come hang out with us. Again, this Saturday, we're going to have a little pregame show action starting around 2:30, 2:45. We'll watch the game together. We'll hang out. We'll have some good times and some good laughs. It's going to be a good time, so be sure to come out and hang out with us over at Goat Lab Red in Fayetteville. Again, 1214 North Garland Avenue there in Fayetteville. All right. And then also a few more chats here, too, because I know we'll have our heavy hitters here in a little bit, which I got a few of them really weird. But also, actually, no, putting this up, I've been meaning to do this for a while. Somebody, when we're talking about the coaches and the voting for everything, someone just tweeted at me and said, make sure, John, you mention that John Gruden is the Frito pie option of coaches. Can y'all explain to me what that could possibly mean?
I don't know, man.
I have no clue.
I like a good Frito pie from time to time.
Me too, but I don't think this was a good thing.
I don't either. Yeah, so I don't want to. I would probably give it a glowing type of review, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it was like something that everyone hated, then I could understand. If it was something everybody loved, it'd be. But I don't know what it means by Frito pie. Like that's such a. But okay, man. Your message has been passed along, Michael. We'll let everybody know about that. So also we got some we got Cats by 90 are in here starting off. It says interesting that Kentucky has a better backcourt than Arkansas.
I love that Cats by 90 is a pot at the Palace watcher, man. There was one of those lists is like top 25 backcourts in the country or whatever. Arkansas was, I think, 8th. They had Kentucky at like 6th or something. But yeah, I was having that debate on the show earlier today. So he's taking that to heart. Cats by 90.
I love how the random preseason list qualifies as officially.
Yeah.
Official.
Yeah. And then also too says Paddlefish says, Curtis, did you see where Joe Lunardi has us in his way too early bracketology?
I haven't checked if he's updated that in the last couple of days here, but the one I remember with Arkansas being a 4 seed was the most recent. And it was in kind of that crazy bracket that they had. I think we talked about at the time, but it was like Louisville was in it. Kentucky was in it. Little Rock was in it. Missouri was in it. St. John, like it was the most ridiculous bracket. Eric Musselman and USC all in Arkansas's little 16-team region right there. It was kind of crazy, but I haven't, if he's updated in the last couple of days, I haven't checked it.
Also, again, some of these comments I'm going to say for our heavy hitters, because it's going to include one of them. But also, Scalise just want to say, after the year Cops had, we should all be getting our players IVs of beet juice. It is amazing how much that got talked about, and then we never heard about anyone using beet juice again. So,
and we haven't seen anybody do what he did since then. So, maybe it really is just that simple. Beet juice looks disgusting. I've never had it, but just based on looks alone, it's going to be tough to sell me on that. Yeah,
well, it's not. I doubt it's something that people consume a lot, probably for a reason, probably because it's not very good. But shout out to Kevin Comps, got married this past weekend, so shout out to him for tying the knot there. All right, so we'll get to more of your chats, folks. But let's go ahead and get into our heavy hitters presented by HD Roofing and Construction, because we know that storms here in the state of Arkansas can hit unexpectedly. You never know when it's going to happen. And luckily for you, you can get that free inspection and have that peace of mind for you when dealing with HD Roofing. They have professionalism. They use the top quality of materials. They have the expert installation, and it's all for your roofing needs to make sure that your roof is good to go. They may come out there and say, hey, your roof is fine. You'll need one. It's not going to cost you any money. And they may get out there and say, oh my goodness, if you don't get this replaced right now, your entire home is going to collapse. Well, you probably need to get on that. They're going to help you with all of it. So give them a call today at 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. You can also check out their website at hdarkansas.com. It's HD Roofing and Construction for our heavy hitters here on Inside Arkansas. Okay, so for my heavy hitter, I don't even know if anyone's done this just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and do some forward thinking here and saying if anybody actually does end up doing something like this, that they are going to be my heavy hitter. And it has to deal with the snitch line for the college football, college athletics, and everything to go along with it. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, it's quite hilarious to think that with this day and age, you have a lot of people bending the rules and maybe being in that third lane that we hear about from Hunter Yurchek and discussing it. Well, don't you worry, because now college football and the clearinghouse and all of that great stuff, they've officially launched a way to where you can have a phone call anonymously and let everybody know that, hey, this school over here, they're cheating. They're absolutely cheating. And it's going to be an anonymous thing. I was trying to find the tweet of it, but I just went missing on it. But I'll have to read the details on it. But either way, here it is. So yeah, it's called. It's a partnership with Real Response HQ, and it allows to confidentially report potential rules violations around third-party NIL deals and revenue sharing directly to the College Sports Commission. So I would crack up at seeing whoever has to review these cases. I would crack up to see who is the one that submits these cases. I know that they're going to say it's a confidential thing, but how much is it going to be involved? How much are they going to take seriously? I don't really know, but anonymous reports can be submitted and additional information. If you ever hear of anything, folks, collegesportscommission.org/report. So if you see anybody cheating, you know who to contact. So again, I just wish we could get an idea of who's going to be doing all these things and who's going to be actually turning anybody in. And who knows, maybe Arkansas is a part of that at some point in time.
Y'all gonna
listen. This is great news for the Arkansas Razorbacks. This is now the fourth lane. There's the first two lanes. There's the third lane of cheating and spending money. There's the fourth lane, snitching. I think Arkansas should adopt this. I think they should hire a guy. You asked John who's going to be the one actually making these calls. I doubt Bobby Petrino or John Calipari are going to be. Oh, hey, yeah, this guy. Have a designated guy on staff. Remy. Maybe Remy is your cheat guy or he's your snitch guy. Everyone needs a rat now. I love this. I think this is great. I also hope it quits. It makes these coaches stop going to the media and being like, oh, we don't have the resources. They stole our players, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, then snitch on them. If they stole your player and you have proof, snitch. And, okay, let's just leave it at that. Don't go complaining to the media about NIL. Don't go complaining out publicly. Just snitch.
You went exactly where I was going to go with it. That's, I think, where you're at. If you're worried about cheating yourself, then tattletale on all the folks who are doing it. That's the way to keep your moral high ground and find an even playing field for it. Call it in.
Yeah, I'd be all for it if that actually ended up happening. But I don't know. I just hope somebody gets caught because of that. It's like, oh, how did you find out all this nonsense was going on? Oh, well, Eli Drinkwitz let us know and called us up and they told us about it. So again, it's just one of those other jokes that I don't think is going to lead to anything, but it's just funny that they have to announce back, hey, if you want to report something though, let us know. Here's how you can do it. So that's my heavy hitter for today.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, I already kind of gave mine away with all the North Carolina stuff. My heavy hitter was the student body president. By the way, his name, by the way, is Adolfo Alvarez. So good on him for standing on business, what he believes in there. But that whole situation, man, is just absolutely nuts to me. So I had to find a way to call light to it and give some credit where credit is due. So he gets it. I'm happy for Hubert Davis. He gets a little bit of pressure off of his back there. So there you have it. But it is absolutely not Bill Belichick himself.
I'm happy for Hubert Davis as well, and I hope he's employed for life at the University of North Carolina. Man, I used to hate them a lot when I was a kid. I really hated North Carolina, and now I feel like I'm just not as threatened by them. I'm okay with them now. I don't have that same vitriol. My heavy hitter is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And really just the Toronto Blue Jays in general. You eliminate the New York Yankees. You do America a service. We all appreciate that. I mean, no matter who your team is, no matter if you're an MLB fan or not, we all agree the Yankees suck. Like, nobody likes the Yankees. Nobody wants to see the Yankees win. And Toronto took care of business for us. My Astros were not in the playoffs. We were not in a position, although we have done that service for America a lot over the last couple of years. We were not in a position to do it. I needed someone else to step up, and shout out to Vladimir Guerrero. I don't know if y'all saw this. You know how David Ortiz has that video where he's like, "The Yankees lose," or whatever, and it like went super viral for a while. They went back and forth. They had Vladimir Guerrero in the middle of the champagne celebration and all that. He's on the call, or he's on the post-game show with Big Papi, with A-Rod, with Jeter, with all these guys, and David Ortiz is just sitting there doing the Yankees lose, and Vlad is doing it with them. He's going back and forth, and then Ortiz kept making him do it. I would have pulled the video, but it was on live TV, so I know we would get demonetized right away. But David Ortiz made him do it like 6 times. He was like, one more time. Yankees lose. And they just kept screaming it. And like A-Rod and Jeter just sitting there shaking their heads. It was awesome.
Yeah, I did enjoy seeing all that. And, just feel like the Yankees are just the quintessential team of any sport. I think every sport's got them, but like the quintessential team of like you truly either like love them or hate them. So anytime that I see them lose, it's just funny to see the reactions of said Yankees fans because there's so many of them, but also the ones that are celebrating, even if their team's not even in the playoffs. They're like, well, I'm just glad that the Yankees lost.
Exactly.
Yeah, for them. Because I feel like it's like for them, it's in the MLB and NBA, you could say maybe the Lakers, Celtics, or whatever team LeBron's on. And I guess in football, is it the Cowboys, I guess? I mean, would it be?
The Yankees are headed towards a Cowboys-esque thing where it's like they're getting to the point where they're no longer good enough for us to keep doing that. Because, I mean, the Yankees are still good, but like, in my lifetime, I think they've only won like 2 World Series, and most of those were early. So it's like, I think the Cowboys have lost that luster where they haven't been good enough the last 25 years to warrant still being that team we all cheer against, but they're still up there.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Because it's like I feel like when you think about these prime teams, these great teams, and then in professional sports, it's like a lot of them have not been the dominating ones. Like, think about the Dodgers, for instance. They how much money they have and all that. They've won 1, which I know is 1, but still just 1. And then the Cowboys haven't done it. And then I guess in the NBA, the Lakers won the bubble one, and then the Mickey Mouse one, the Celtics won 1, but still, it just shows you that hey, just because you got the biggest franchise and the most money doesn't mean that's always going to be the case. So, let's see. Also, I know we'll have some other things too. We just have a bunch of people gifting memberships. So, all right, shout out to Finch for gifting 1 Inside Arkansas membership, which led to Dylan gifting 1 Inside Arkansas membership, which led to David gifting 1 Inside Arkansas membership. So
very nice. I like that.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. Also, the student section says, let's have a basketball debate. Am I the only one who's concerned about the overlap between DJ and A-Cuff?
What do you mean overlap? I guess would be my question.
I guess he thinks they can't play together.
Well, they're going to. I'm far less concerned about that now than I was during the summer. You're always going to wonder about like whoever is paired with DJ Wagner in the backcourt. How is that going to work? Especially with the type of players that Arkansas brings in. Like you wondered about it with Boogie. You wondered about it with A-Cuff because it's like all of those guys are probably at their best with their, with the ball in their hands, and there's only one basketball on the floor. So like only one guy can have it there, but it's going to be interesting to see it play out. That's one of the things that I'm going to be watching for on Sunday. I hope they play together some. Cal said in his last press conference that those two guys have been competing against each other a lot, A-Cuff and Wagner, because they've been in let's get better mode. Now they're trying to figure out what their lineups are going to look like and stuff. So they'll start sharing the floor. But I will say when they did in the pro day, the very first possession, it was A-Cuff kicking it out to DJ for a corner 3, and he knocked it down. So that was good. Both of those guys are shooting it really well in all the sample sizes we've been able to see them so far. If those two guys are making shots, I have zero worries about it whatsoever between the two of them. If they're not making shots, then yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about it.
It'll help if this Malik Ewan 3-point shooting tear we've been watching here for a few days now, if that continues, because then you really look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, your backcourt with A-Cuff and Wagner, not the most shooting ever, but Carter Knox, he's going to knock down threes. Trevin Brazil, he's going to knock down threes. If Malik Ewan is also knocking down threes, if there's a little bit less pressure on these guys to be super soakers back there. But I do think Acuff, if Acuff is the shooter that you and I expect him to be, it really isn't going to be the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
I also think that anytime these types of debates are brought up, it's always overblown. If like, oh, how are these guys going to play together, or how are these guys going to make it work? It's like great players make it work. So Paddlefish says, why are you a Jets fan? I've been wondering. Well, I wouldn't say I'm a Jets fan much anymore because it's just been so bad, but it was because when I was growing up, my favorite color was green. I don't know why. My dad had a Jets helmet because he was a Joe Namath fan growing up, and I was into football, and that was it. And then the first year I actually got into football was in 1998 when Arkansas was really good. Also, the Jets were good because they went to the AFC title game with Vinny Testaverde, Keyshawn Johnson, Wayne Krebet, Curtis Martin, Keyshawn, all those guys. So that's why. But again, it's been rough. In fact, it's been since 2010 that either of my football teams have actually been good. So been a pretty long 15 years for me, but that's why. Let's see. Hawkball Burner says, hey, John, ask Curtis about John Calipari's song. I'll be playing it after every win.
Good Lord, man. Did you guys see that?
I don't know if I did.
I'll share it with you. Oh, and you can find it on Hogball Burner's Twitter. But I think he put it in the Discord last night, and I was listening to it. It's well, we'll just call it a banger since John Calipari's in it.
Is it an AI version of him singing?
I don't no. It's a song with his name included in it a lot, over and over and over and over and over again. But I'm down for it every time after a win. I'm in.
Wow, let's just get it to the marketing department, have them do it inside of Bud Walton Arena. And also the student section says, now that I'm a member, can you guys do a members only stream tonight? There will not be a members only stream tonight, but there will be our official live stream simulation of EA Sports College Football 26. And not just members, everybody can join that, where we simulate Arkansas and Tennessee tonight. Should be interesting. We're not, everyone's saying, hey, you can take Pittman out of the game. You can't. However, I think what we're going to do is we're going to change the playbooks up a little bit just to add a little extra spice and make it a little bit different. So we'll see. But yeah, we're doing that tonight at 8:00. So be there and come hang out with us and see how it goes. Arkansas is officially 4-1 on the year, right? Yeah, 4-1. And they're still in the mix for the playoff spot. So just keep it up there. They're undefeated in the SEC too, leading the charge. So yeah, we'll have that tonight for you though, for sure. All right. So we'll have some other things to get into as well as your chats. But I want to remind everybody that Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, they are the place to get all of your holiday lighting, whether it's Christmas lighting, Halloween lighting, no matter what it is. They're the ones that are the best in the business. In fact, our guy Brett texted me last night and said, hey man, was just checking out Inside Arkansas, and he's had multiple, as in double digit amount of customers that have reached out to him and that are getting their Christmas lights up because of Inside Arkansas, which is awesome to hear. So we appreciate all of you using Brett and Walter Christmas Lighting because they're the best in the business for a reason. They do it better than anybody. They're professionals, and it's not even just for Halloween, but it's also for Christmas. And if you're in the Northwest Arkansas River Valley area, they're going to get those lights installed for you. They're going to provide all those materials, any pattern, any color, and also the free maintenance. Don't forget that throughout the holiday season. They do the takedowns happening in January. So just leave them up there, and they'll even put them up and take them down for you, handle it all. So give our guy Brett a text today for a free estimate at 479-459-1380. That's 479-459-1380. You can also check out their Facebook page by hitting that QR code right there on your screen to see all the different pictures and all the different places that they've done it. It's Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, your local holiday lighting experts.
I want to throw something in there on Brett real quick because he texted me too last night. And you know how when you get a text, you get like the very first part of it on your notifications. And I was driving. I went to pick up a prescription at the vet, and I just saw, he's like, hey man, just, checking in to see how the lights are looking. And so I just saw that part of it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm getting ready to go back home and it's dark. So I'll check it out and I'll hit him up. And so I was just walking up towards my house, and I noticed one bulb was out. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Don't care. Like, it's not even in the front of the house, whatever. Well, then I opened his text, and the rest of the message said, and don't be afraid to tell me if there's just a bulb out because my name goes on this, and I want it to be as good as possible. Like, he takes that stuff very, very seriously. So I was like, well, the lights are awesome. Still dominating the neighborhood. I love it. but yeah, like one of the red bulbs is out, and he'll have it taken care of. Like he noticed right away when they put theirs, came out here and installed everything, and he was checking it, and he texted me right away, and he was like, man, he was like, I noticed that there's one out, gonna have that replaced for you. And then it was done like, like an hour later or something. It's ridiculous. So they do a really good job, man. And they put pride into it and put effort into the work. And I'm excited about it. And I've seen, I've already lost in here, but I've seen Trey in the chat. He's like, I'm ready to see Curtis's lights. I'm waiting because the person who won the giveaway or whatever, I want them to get theirs done, because I legit, like, we're trying to do a little competition here. Like, I want to put my house and his house up there. They're both going to be awesome. But if whoever that person is beats me in the vote, I got to send him a Pot at the Palace t-shirt. So I can't jump the gun and start putting my house out there. Plus, once we get a little closer to Halloween, I'm going to be doing a Pot at the Palace from out there also. So I'm saving it a little bit, but Andrew's seen it. He can vouch.
It's definitely a solid little display, and it's currently dominating the neighborhood.
So are you, you're saying you need a picture of the guy's place that ended up having his lights done?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sending you one because Brett sent me one of it.
Perfect.
And I'll just send it to y'all. So yeah, so there you have it. So now you can do the competition and see.
And I'm going to do a blind. It's going to be a blind vote too. Like it's like, hey, this is my house and this is his house. No, it's just going to be house A, house B.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, please do that, because you don't need to dox yourself and end up being in trouble.
Anyone that gets your lights done, now you can just text Brett and say, hey, fix bulbs LC guy.
Yeah.
Like Curtis.
That's right.
Shit. I'm definitely losing. I'm definitely going to lose. This is awesome.
They pimped him out.
Dang it. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, listen, as we know, the fan vote doesn't always go one way or the other, because if that was the case, Dan Mullen's the next head coach. So, yeah, it doesn't always happen that way.
It's good stuff.
All right. Also, I also wanted to bring up while we're on the conversation. It was funny. Gracie of Collier and Associates, Gracie Frizzell, texted me yesterday, and she says, I just stopped by somewhere to get something, and I had someone literally just say, hey, I've seen you on John Neighbors and Inside Arkansas's podcast. She was like, I was not expecting that. I was like, well, it's because we have a lot of people that listen to us and love our partnerships. And, it's what happens when you hang out and you partner with Inside Arkansas. People know you, and they use you, and they use your business.
So tapped in, man.
That's right. Let's see. Smitty, shout out to you. He gifted 4 members, or been member for 4 months. Says Talon might hit 1,500 yards this game. I don't know, man. The game does not always equate to what it is in reality.
Where is
he's 50?
He's talking about the actual game.
Yeah,
I think he meant Talon is about to cross 1,500 for the year.
Where is he at right now? Let me.
Like 1,200 or something like that. Like he's up there.
Oh yeah, I think he's good for 300.
I mean, he better be against this Tennessee defense.
Oh, he's at 1,398.
Yeah,
dude, he'll get it in the first half.
Yeah, dude,
Maybe.
He'll have that after 2 drives, baby.
Okay, so he's talking about hitting it for the season, not hitting it as in he's going to actually throw for 1,500 yards in a single game.
In this game.
Yes,
John was like, shit, that Tennessee pass defense is not that bad.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I was like, dude, he's just going to throw 80-yard bombs. And even if he threw an 80-yard bomb on every possession, he still wouldn't get 1,500 yards. But, it's, but hey, aim high and keep the expectation high. Phil also gifted someone with an Inside Arkansas membership. So, just a lot of gifts being thrown around there, too. Student section just says, Curtis, drop your address in the chat so we can all show up to your house and see your lights, please.
I've noticed that when it's dark, obviously, and when the lights are on, that you can't see the house number, but you people are different. You're built different. You're going to figure it out anyway. But the truth is, a lot of you know anyway, because you sent me baby gifts, which we appreciate. True. And, so
anytime someone asks, I give them your address.
A lot of people just know. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this.
I trust you guys.
Well, I'm going to put this out because this just made me think of it. There's just a reminder, folks. Don't take pictures of us without us knowing. And it's just really weird. I had that happen to me this morning, and it's weird. So please don't do that. Like, I'm actually asking, don't do that. It's weird. Okay. I was simply walking to the grocery store, and I had, because you guys know where I live. I walked to the grocery store, walked back, and I looked like crap because, it's early morning, and I get hit with a picture. It's like, hey, seen John, I'm neighbors out here. Nope, don't do that. Do not do that. Please don't do that. So just say hi. Just say hi.
Speaking of where you live, I completely forgot. I saw John out in the wild literally
Yes.
like 10 minutes before I got engaged. I was on my way to Bomb, and I passed by John as I was like right around by. I was like right by your house.
Yeah. It was I noticed because I'm like, that's a car that looks like Andrew's. And then I'm pulling in and I see the hair and I don't even remember what thing you did. You're just kind of like doing that in the window.
Sure.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh yeah, that's him. And then but yeah, we didn't talk, but we just, acknowledged each other.
I was literally on the way to get engaged. Like that was like we were mere minutes away.
I was thinking about like texting you, be like, hey man, it's how'd it go? But I was like, he's probably like literally hasn't even happened yet or been done. And my luck is that you see on your phone and be like, what's John talking about? And you're like, and I just ruined the entire thing. So I didn't risk it. I didn't want to risk it. All right. So also Kingsley says, Curtis, rewatching the pro day like a real sicko. Can you explain what a twist is right quick and what a highway cut is?
Yeah. So a twist is, we used to call it screen and rescreen, but it's where you come up and set a ball screen and then you immediately turn and set it again in the opposite direction. And so that's something that doesn't surprise me that Arkansas is working on that a lot, because it's really good when teams like to go under the ball screens on you. So there are two ways to attack that. One is if, somebody goes under, then you can make them pay by pulling up and knocking down a three. But if it's, DJ or whatever, and maybe you don't want him doing that as much, or he's not as great of a shooter, then you can immediately rescreen. It gives you a better angle to, and you get to set it a little bit deeper and get downhill. So I like that action a lot. And Arkansas does a lot of different things with it. And sometimes they don't even twist after setting the screen. Like they'll twist on their way up. So they do a lot of different things of it. They have different reads and different actions off of it. And when you have versatile bigs, like Ewan or TB, who can pick and pop or pick and roll or whatever, short roll, like there's a lot of opportunities there for them to do some cool stuff. So I like that action a lot. The highway cut, I heard him talking about that. I don't, like, everybody has their own terminology. We used to call the highway just like the middle third of the floor. But I don't think that's what he was talking about. So I really don't know exactly what that was. He was talking about some cool stuff like the Clyde cuts that they were running for TB against Texas Tech, and he was getting those baseline dunks and everything. But I have no idea what a highway cut is.
Hey,
Sounds
Curtis.
good.
Hey,
what was up with this? You gotta act like we didn't notice that. If it's DJ, maybe they go into the screen and he can't knock down the shot. Yeah, you slipped a little 3J Wagner doubting in there.
he's like a 29% career 3-point shooter. What the hell do you want from me? Like, there's a reason they go under the screens on him.
Well, he's knocking them down this year. We want the opponent. We want the opponent to go under. We dare him to go under.
Yeah. I was just hoping that,
and then he can either pull up and make 30% of the threes that he takes, or he can get a twist action and then get downhill where he's a better finisher.
Oh, see, I would love to see everyone make threes, and it would be nice to have that happen, because last year's 3-point shooting was bad, and it just seems like it's been a long time since Arkansas has had good 3-point shooting. So at least consistent, but I'd like anybody and everybody, because, man, watching that 3-point competition at that prime time at the Palace, I was like, I know this means nothing getting on the court, but some of those shot making abilities, man, like Malik Thomas, look good with some of that shooting from the outside.
You know who wasn't in the 3-point competition?
DJ Wagner.
Yeah, he's just too good. He's just too good at it.
The ones he took in the open run too.
Yeah,
he was knocking it down in pro day though, and he did pull up when somebody went under and knock down a three. So I will acknowledge that.
By the way, Taylon Green, according to Bet Saracen, over under 279.5 passing yards against Tennessee. Would you guys take that over or under?
Over.
I'll take the over, because I think they'll be once they get to it. If we think they're going to lose by a couple of touchdowns, they'll be throwing a lot. I think he can throw for $3 bills.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I've already put some money down on this. I'm not going to say what I've done yet. I'll wait for the pregame show, but I put some money down on it. I think it's going to be good. Which, by the way, money line plus 350 right now for Arkansas. It was 400, but now it's 350. So be sure to look at that. Let's see. Arkansas also gifted 5 inside. We've had a lot of gifts today for the membership. So
cool, man.
We may have to have another members only stream just because there's so many new people here. Paddlefish says, Ellis. Hey, Ellis, who will be the next Gage Wood? Now it's no longer Kevin Kopps. It's now who's the next Gage Wood.
I need Paddlefish. I need you to clarify a little bit. Because, do you mean like who's going to be the next first round pick out of Arkansas right-handed pitcher? Well, that might be Gabe Gackle, but does Gabe Gackle qualify as a Gage Wood? Do you mean a guy that's going to come out of nowhere and, improve his draft stock like crazy? I don't know. In reality, it's probably going to be a while before you see someone like an in-state pitcher have a career arc like Gage Wood. That was pretty unreal. Although I will say, Matt Hobbs, and I've made this point on Bombastic a lot of the best pitchers under Matt Hobbs, very few of them have been transfers. It's mostly been guys like Kevin Kopps, guys like Patrick Wicklander, guys like Hagen Smith, guys like Gage Wood, who came to Arkansas as freshmen and developed over 3 years. Tate McGuire does not qualify as that. He's not going to be a first-round pick. He's not going to throw 100 like Gage Wood. But I think Tate McGuire is going to be the next guy that drastically improves his stock in year 3, and it's going to be because he had been developing behind closed doors. We didn't realize it. Oh, wow, now he's a 4th-round pick.
Did I see Patrick Wicklander, or did I dream this? He tweeted that he's going to be pitching in Venezuela or something, or
I missed that. Maybe he did. He probably did. I mean, that sounds about right. He's been pitching in some like indie leagues and some things here and there, trying to hang on, keep his career going.
I thought I saw that yesterday.
Pitching in Venezuela. I can get behind that.
I thought the question Paddlefish was asking is who's just going to be the next Razorback pitcher to throw a no-hitter in the World Series. That's really what he was talking about.
That's another thing, because I was like, who's going to be the next Gage Wood? I need to know the context, because a lot of these things, I could see a case depending on the criteria.
Yeah, it could go a lot of different directions there. Yeah, because that's what Addison was just like, hey, he's going to throw the no-hitter there.
Yeah, probably nobody. Next guy from Batesville to be a top 20 pick, probably nobody.
Yeah, LA. Okay, I don't know what Trey is like basking in the Ozarks. Like, John has me shadow banned. Like, what are you wanting me to say? Is there something is there a chat of yours I missed?
His Paul Finebaum comment, because I think that's what he was complaining about. He said he made a Paul Finebaum comment and we talked about it, but we didn't pull up his comment, and so he's in his feelings about it. Sorry, Trey. I did not see that comment. It's guys. I guess we got DM from somebody saying that it was about him being. This was days ago when he was removed off of Disney. I don't know, because I guess somebody maybe just saw the tweet today that was tweeted and reported days ago and thought it was today. I don't know, but I'm like, there's no updates on the Paul Finebaum situation and everything too. Yeah, because someone's like, RIP to John going on Finebaum. I'm like, what happened? Did something? I was like,
I thought he was talking about. He asked the question of who's everybody's favorite rod and reel company. I don't even know a rod and reel company, man. It's like I didn't want to say.
Yeah. Oh. By the way, I did look into the Paul Finebaum thing. He announced he's going to try and run for Alabama Senate. And so I think that is what people are referencing. And apparently Pete Nakos, our guy who is always good with the reports, says that ESPN has removed him since he said he was going to do that.
Yeah, but that was days ago. And then he got, yeah, and then he got,
I think that's what the random influx of Paul Finebaum comments were about.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, I was like, because when I see RIP Finebaum, I'm like, I beg your pardon. Like, don't be saying RIP.
I'm like,
don't say RIP to somebody like that who's old. We love Paul.
He's a little too elderly for that moniker there. Be careful.
What is with all these like people from Bama wanting to run for office? Like, yeah, Tommy Tuberville. Now you got Bruce Pearl's talked about it. Now Finebaum. Like, what's in the water down there in sports where you're like, hey, I talk sports, I coach sports, I do sports. I'm ready for politics now. Like, it's just what is that? I don't get it.
Who would win if Bruce Pearl and Finebaum ran against each other?
Pearl. I think so. I think there's enough people that hate Finebaum from both sides.
I'd say most people hate. Have you heard anybody really be like, "Oh, dude, I love Finebaum"? I know there are people that do, but I don't meet those people ever.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Finebaum.
No, I like him too. I just think that if you're talking about Pearl's definitely more of the politician. I feel like he's got the energy and excitement surrounding him.
Yeah, I see more people who are like very pro. I mean, obviously Auburn fans, but like I think Bruce Pearl has a little bit of like a personality that can rally the masses.
Finebaum's got that James Carville look to him, so I don't know about putting him in office, but
I know it's the thing that gets said all the time. Face made for radio is definitely for Paul. Yeah, because I think if you're just like bald and short, you just need to be in radio for some reason. Sharkensaw also with the super chat says, who will be the first hog to get to 100 points this year in shooty hoops? My pick is DJ.
Let's see.
Wait, what is shooty hoops? Is that just basketball?
I guess so, yeah.
Like, I didn't know if that was like a reference of something I didn't know.
Who's going to be the leading scorer for the first 4 or 5
4 or 5
games.
I think it's gonna be
It
Carter,
would make
right?
some sense.
I'm going Trevin.
That'd be
Trevin's a good
cool.
one.
There'll be a game in non-conference where Trevin has like 24 and 12 on 9 shots or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want a bold take, how about this? Whoever does get it is probably going to be like a random, like Malik Thomas or somebody comes in, or Darius Acuff, and he just like has a couple of games where he goes for 25 and gets there quicker. But then, not saying he drops off and becomes bad, but he doesn't lead the team in scoring by the end of the season. He maybe just starts strong.
Dude, Malik Ewan should eat on, especially those mid majors that they're playing early. Whew.
All the bigs, honestly. Like I could see any of those 3. Pringle, Bill, Ewan having some monster games early.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, who would be the funniest player that actually contributes to like lead the team in scoring to get to 100 points first? Like, would Malik Ewan?
Billy would be funny. Yeah, because that'd be nuts. But like Pringle, I feel like would be like the funny, like, because I could like low key see it happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny. And then Trey says it was a joke about the membership. Yeah, I'm sorry, Trey. I did not see it.
I figured that out once we got to talking about it there.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I did not see it. We got a lot of chatters in this thing, man. So
that man just can't catch a random gifted membership.
Yeah. It's like just God does not want him to have
that's
one.
That's what he's been. It's because there's been all these random ones and he hasn't gotten it. I've seen a few other people with their hand out begging.
Well, hey, listen, just if the guy, keep putting your hand up, keep doing that panhandling, and one day you'll be gifted with a membership from some of the rich people for you poorers out there, I guess.
If Cats by 90 gets one before Bass and the Ozarks, we're gonna have to try to fix that algorithm somehow.
Hey, fun question, and see if you guys remember. Do you remember who our very first member was? Our first not gifted, first official member.
Is it Logan?
Nope.
Joy to the world.
Joy to the world.
Really?
She was our very first. The Kentucky fan was our very first member. Yeah. So look at Andrew's face frozen. It's funny. But yeah.
I thought he was like really interested in that. Like,
yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, that was always my favorite thing. If like Joy to the World was our first member, just like we all thought she would be. So, all right. Well, guys, final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day.
Well, dang it. I'll bring it up tonight on the stream, but did you guys see the Sam Pittman got caught in the wild in Hot Springs?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Dang it.
I did not see this. Dang it. I didn't see it.
Dude, he was in like a ZZ Top shirt, some sweats and some Jordan slides. Just vibing at Lowe's. They caught him at Lowe's, bro. He took a picture with somebody. It looked like he was living his best life, man. Anyway, I had to slip that in there because I meant to get that picture and bring it up. But as for my final thoughts, see everybody tonight, and it'll be a good time. That's all I got.
I agree with both those things. See you tonight. We are going to have a good time. It's going to be our best ever video game live stream.
Which
Actually,
is
my final thought is, because Battlefish did say, did I see his Gagewood clarification? And he said, a guy that can shut down any offense on the mound. Well, then I'm going to go Gabe Gackle for that. I think he kind of fits a few of those criteria. Gabe Gackle needs to be that guy for this whole thing to work. So there's your final thought, Paddlefish. You're the man.
All right. Well, my final thought is just 2 funny tweets I want to bring up. Addison just says, y'all going to hit up Sam at the tip-off tour. He might be there. He might be there on Sunday.
We might see him at Blue Ember Smokehouse afterwards.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to be.
I would love for Sam Pittman to pull up at Blue Ember.
Dude, that would be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun. Also, too, shout out to this guy just because it's a great name. Fur Baby Daddy says, I appreciate the membership, 55-year Hog fan. Thanks. Well, we didn't gift it to you, but you're welcome. You're welcome for the access for it. Yep, that's right. Well, that'll do it for us. But yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you listening and watching in to Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page for all of our content. Be sure to follow along with our podcast, wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast with Dudley Dawson, as well as Inside Arkansas Football Podcast as well. And we're going to keep it going. Check us out on social media at Inside Arkansas as well. And that'll do it for us. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson and intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. We'll see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. for our EA College Football 26 simulation live stream.